Okay, the video for yesterday's class has been uploaded. Okay, so I think this is it. Let me see if I can recover it. Hmm. Okay, yeah, I've been able to recover it. Okay, okay. I know I did not save it. Okay. So I'm now on my SQL. You know, I told you yesterday that what we did in class yesterday, it as much as it is important, it is not the work of a data analyst. Let me switch to here. Okay, so I can switch to my laptop fully now. So I was saying that what I taught you yesterday, as much as it is important and very good to know, I told you yesterday that it's not the work of a data analyst. Um, it is basically the work of a data scientist because they are the one that actually um, they are the one that actually um, set up the table. They are the one that actually set up the table and give it to us as a data analyst to actually use. So so that's that about that. So but then from their languages under their DDL we have create, we have author, we have drop. I have taught you how to use your create yesterday. I have taught you how to use your drop because I remember that we dropped a table that we are using. In fact, if you see right now that over here we are on our masters, that's how it will always be. If you are just opening your SQL, this guy will be on master, the database, but then you want to remove this guy from master always. So this is the guy we are using right now. So put it on that because if I run anything over here while it's on masters, let me put this guy here. If I run anything over here when it's still on master like this, execute it, you give me an error message. You give me an error message. Select from object, invalid object name, class data. It will give me this. So, but then immediately I change it back to strategic mind and execute, I'll be able to see my table. So that is it's as simple as that. I'll be able to see my table. It's as simple as that. So let's quickly go to author. I think I saw somebody using author table yesterday. I think because I ensured I read every of your messages, even the one I don't reply to. Even when I'm extremely tired, because extremely tired. I had to go to bed to church very late today, so that's how tired I was after all this. So, I saw somebody using Portable yesterday, but then it is fine. Yeah, it means that maybe you are learning out of class or you know about it before. It's one of the two. So let's quickly use Otter table. You can use Otter table for so many things, but then at times it's as simple as maybe just adding a new column. This can be as simple as adding a new column. Um, uh, this can be as simple as that. So, for example, so let's say this we have salary. Let's just say we want to add grade. Let's say add grade column to the existing table. Existing table. So add grade column to the existing table. So okay, so for us to add grade column, the only thing we need to do is to use our author function. We can easily use our author function to do this. So it's as simple as saying this is like alter this table, alter what's the name of your table? Um uh, leave it in mind. Tables class data. Alter this table. So what are you altering there? Add grade. This is your grade is virtual. Add grade virtual. How is this guy on the line? Okay. Alter alter table. Okay, yeah, that is correct. And that's so that's the loop for the missed. So alter table, then the name of your table, then what you're adding, and then the value. So we can go back to select star from DBO this, and then let's run this, and then you can see grade is already added. You can see grade is already added. So we can use other table for so many things also. I think one of the things that you guys used it for on your stuff yesterday was you used it to alter the data type, the data type. But then most times, most use case is when you are trying to add a new column to your table. Somebody saying, could I please zoom? Zoom. Is there anything like zoom on this guy? There is nothing like zoom on this guy. If you see zoom, is it that? See, are you on your phone or your laptop? The person has Chinaza, because on your phone you should be able to zoom in yourself. If you are on your phone, you should be able to zoom in the screen yourself on your own end. If you are using your phone, you should be able to zoom in yourself in case you cannot see anything clearly. So please just zoom in yourself to what you want to see. So please, that is that would be the best, because because this guy does not allow you to zoom. It has to just contain all these at once. Not allow you to zoom in like you want. So it is maybe if they are editing video that they can only allow zooming in to whatever it is. So what about if you have 5 rows and you want to add new rows? Is that somebody new row at the third row? This one is simple. That one is simple now. You are coming back to this your process. You are coming back. For example, I have 2 rows right now, and I want to add more rows. Just do your role is back into table. You are inside your table. This this like back into this, just like we did here. We have our name is different thing. We have the that's the have your values, and then the first one is ID. So we have this str str 25001 one name Victor Victor comma So, comma, let's say, uh, email at gmail.com. So that 17th 04. Right. I'm having these red lines. Why am I having red lines? 1304 salary. So I can have grade here. Grade. So depending on what you're using as your metric for your grading, suppose this guy can put command if I want, and I can keep adding anything I want. So, but that is lesson of let me see step into connecting tax near value. Who considers near value? Maybe start into tables. Start into tables. It's our table. This, that, this, that, this, that, this, yeah. It's values, not value. Okay. Conversion failed while converting date and time from the character string. I think most people had this idea yesterday. That's basically what we did yesterday. So let me see. Comment 10, 17, something. Yeah. So and this guy changed. So what this guy told me is telling me now, and the reason why I'm able to trace that is that it's telling me that your month is coming first, your date is coming next, and then your year. So it's just as simple as that. And I've already been able to change that. So I can do my select from my table. From my table. Don't see you don't need to cram anything. Can you see now I have this guy with the color code, this and the likes. Can you see that it's changed the date formatting itself and then grade 5. It's as simple as that. So if you want to keep adding rows, like even up to 1000 rows, you can keep doing that like that. Somebody says saying my line is breaking. If that is correct, but then I'm not so sure. Can you guys hear me loud and clear? Can you guys hear me loud and clear, please? If you can hear me, let me know. Hello.
Hello, we can hear you, sir.
Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you. So, what I'm saying is that if you want to add as a second or fourth row, please. Um, okay, you can hear me. Okay, thank you so much for that. Thank you so much for that. Please, I don't want it as a first or second row. The only way you can achieve that is changing your student ID, which is another long process for you. In fact, I've even made a mistake over here now. I already have two student ID over here, which will not be too cool. Then that's not an issue. I will see how to rectify that later. So um so with that you can always add new entries to your dashboard using this approach. Using this approach. So I think with that we have done the we are done with the DML. We are done with our data definition language, our DML. So we can go fully into our we can go fully into our um can go fully into our um but I want to do something. I want to change this guy. 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 Mm. Let me delete it and enter it again. So let me use my delete function. This one other DML also. This is part of what data analyst can do. Delete from this our table. Delete from table. Then I want to have I want to delete this guy. I want to delete this guy. So I want to make use of my first name first. Where first name first score name is equals to Victor. Let me see. Okay, see, I will not run into any error. Actually, not. Okay, so that has been affected. So I can execute this and then, yeah, that is deleted already. Okay, so I can change this guy to number 3, and then run this guy all over again. Execute. Yeah, I can have this guy back. Then I have it 1, 2, 3. Okay, that makes more sense. So I want to fill in this grid. I want to fill in this grid and this grid. So now we are already looking at our DML. That's your data manipulation language. That's a data manipulation language. And what we do with data manipulation language is that we start to query our SQL. This is where you as a data analyst, this is where you operate more. So you want to select, you want to insert, you want to update, you want to delete. I've already taught you how to select. I've already taught you how to insert. You know, we inserted data into each of these tables. I've already taught you how to insert. I've already taught you how to delete. I deleted not quite long. So I delete from the name of your table. Then you must need to know the African criteria. This is where your where statement is coming. African criteria. So your where is part of your 6 most important commands you need to understand, and it is the third one. So I am going to finish up on all these 6 most important commands today. I'm going to brush up on them and finish every one of them today, so that we will know that we are fully settled with all our commands that we need to learn. And then also in class today, just like I said yesterday, we are going to learn how we can import data sets from our test file, from our Excel file, and then maybe if time permits also, I will give you guys this adventure works. Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. How can I let me see? Let me see if I can send it to you guys on your group page right now. This adventure works. Let me send it to you guys on your group page right now. Oh my maybe yeah. Let me quickly send it to you guys right now. Yeah. So it is a big data set anyway. I'm sending it to the general group page. Strategic mind assessment. I'm sending it to the general group page. So you have that. I'm sending that already on the general group page. So it is about 102 MB. So we will download it, and then I will teach you guys how to bring it to your SQL interface. So even if you are unable to use it to do this right now into this class, I know that I will teach you later, because it has a lot of data sets in it that you can use for your practice. it has to be a lot of data sets. We have so many tables on it. Can you see? We have so many tables on it. All these are table. All these are table. All these are table. So you can always practice with this anytime you are trying your query. So let's come back here. So we have taught it select already, and I told you that select is used for picking. Want to pick from whether you want to pick everything. We have taught insert already. I told you that insert is for adding or adding data to your table. Okay. The next one is insert updates. For your updates, you are using it to fill, fill or change a cell. Let's just call it a cell. I will find a better word of how to do it. How to find place it. Then we talked about our deletes. So and I said your delete is what you use to delete your rows on or to delete your table. To delete your table, you are using what? To delete your table, you are using what? You are using drop. But then when you have to do something inside to delete your post this time around, you have to use your delete function, not your drop function. So let's quickly update something. I want to quickly update these first two lines so that we can see how I can use updates to do this. So I want to use updates for these two. So but then the dilemma with this is that you have to do it one after the other. So update is the updates. Updates is the updates. Your table name. You want to update this table. You want to update this table. So in your update, what are you now doing in your updates? You want to tell this guy that you should set your grade to be, so let's say grade 3. So you want to do this to be equal to 3. But then the question now is that you have this one, no grade. You have this one, no grade, and the likes. So which of them do you want to be grade 3? That's the question. Which one of them do you want to be grade 3? So you can now do your where function again. So now just to take a quick detour. So we said we have explained your select. We said your select is for picking. Your from, we have also explained your from. We say your from is talking about the source where you are picking it. Then let's talk about your where statement, your where in your statement, your where. So for your where, this is used to introduce conditions. So we can easily call it conditional statement. You can easily call it conditional statement. Your way. So for example, if I'm telling you add everything on your table together where the numbers are even, or where the IDs are even numbers. In number system, we have something we call odd numbers and we have something we call even numbers. And we know that odd numbers, we know what they mean, we know what even numbers means. So that I'm telling you that only add the even numbers together. It means that I am giving you a condition. I'm giving you a criteria that must be fulfilled before we trigger the action. I'm giving you a condition, I'm giving you a criteria. For example, I'm telling you, stay at home until my brother comes back. If my brother comes back, you can leave. That is a conditional statement. So you can only leave when the condition has been triggered. That is, when my brother returns back. So your where is actually used to trigger condition. It is used. So there must be a fulfillment of this guy for the execution of whatever you are using it. That's how to use your where statements. So for as I'm trying to see, we look at more examples. So let us just back down to every one of them once and for all. Hmm. Um, After your will, um we have what you call our um group by. We have what you call our group by. Group by. So I'm calling which best scenario can I? Okay, now in a school, let us assume a higher institution. We have a school admitting an average of maybe 1,000 to 5,000 students per year, depending on the school we are attending. If it's a private unit, definitely the private unit cannot get up to that kind of numbers per annum. But then if it is all these our one school like we went to, I know that I can't really that year I think my school admitted about was it 3,500 of us or so. 3,500 of us. So it was a lot. But then that is the general admission. Like that is the general admission. But then looking at this general admission, we see now have people admitted into different departments. So now you can say out of the 500 students that was admitted generally into the university, how many of them are admitted into each of these departments? So at that point in time, you are using the word group by department. That's what it means. So your group by is used for categorizing. You are using it for categorizing, like people with common factor. That's the word. You know, if you have done common factor before, and like you know that your common factor is used for grouping people that meet the same criteria. That's what your common factor is used for. It's used to bring together um to bring together should I use elements to bring together with common, let's use this word, common factor. So that we're not be using element or using number or using anything. Like I want to avoid those kind of words because it can be anything. You can literally go by anything, depending on how good you are or with the usage of your tools yourself. So your group by, for example, in your class, there was a time we grouped you guys into different groups. I think you have one, four, or five. So that is group by our academic class, and then you have the guys. So because it's now used to class and for us now, it's we have to use. That's it. Like use your group. So you use your group for categorizing basically, and then you're having, you're having. Don't forget when you are grouping by default, you are aggregating, whether consciously or unconsciously, whether you want to admit that or not. You are aggregating, and because of this, And so virus, your laptop, your SQL, your laptop, your SQL might be prone to whenever you are running your queries, if you are not careful. My voice is not breaking up. Maybe my line is breaking. Your line is breaking, but we can hear you. See, is my line still breaking now? I believe you guys should be able to hear me. I think my network is good. I think my network is good. Sure. Can you guys hear me? Let me know. Okay, you can hear me. Okay. I can see thumbs up from some people. Okay, I can see thumbs up from some people. Okay, so I was saying that yes, it's breaking. Favor. This is the second time you are saying it's breaking. Um, at intervals. Okay, let me see. Let me check something. Let me see something. That's true. The network is bad today. It's not totally. It's not totally bad. But it's good enough. Okay, so can you hear me? Can you hear me now? Hello, guys. Okay, fantastic. Okay, yeah. So, okay, so so I was explaining this guy. So I was explaining your group by, and I was saying that it is aggregating. I was explaining group by, and I was saying that it's basically aggregating. So now, once you're able to aggregate like that, your having functional comes in. Having is also introducing condition. It's also introducing condition, just like just like your where just like your where, but it is used on aggregates. But it is used on aggregates where and having they are literally doing the same work. Where and having are literally doing the same work, like they are literally the same thing, literally. But then on literally, they are doing different job. They are doing different things. Job. So your having, I said your having is just used when we are performing our aggregating function. For example, you can't do your you can't do your where sum into bracket something 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 is equals to something. No, you can't do that. You can only do that on having. You can do where grade is equals to grade 5. That's the condition. You can do where first name is equals to due date. But then you can't use having for all these ones because these ones are picking it exactly as you have it on your table. But then when it comes to aggregating function, aggregating, I told you your aggregating function are what? They are your basic arithmetics, like your sum, like your maximum, like your minimum, like your count, like your average. These are your aggregating function. And you can see that these guys are being they have their own color also on SQL because SQL identify them as functions. You can do calculation on this guy also. You can do calculation on this guy also. So SQL identifies them as functions. So anytime you are using your functions, you are using your group by maybe you are grouping by something and you are doing their sum and you want to see the one that their sum is below this or above this and the likes. At that particular point, you are using your having sum of your column name equals to or greater than 5,000, something like this. This is how your having comes in. So you use it with your aggregates. You can't do where sum of column is. You can't do that. You can't do that. You can do where range is greater than. You can do this. Your aggregating function, your aggregating function with your where. That's the constraint. So anytime you are using your group by and you need to have a condition for it, then your best run to guide is your having function. Exactly. So as simple as that. Then you can now go to your order by. Your order by is basically your sorting. Sorting. I taught you how to sort on SQL, whether descending order or ascending order, basically. So that's it. Either from the largest to the smallest, or from the smallest to the largest. So that's basically your order by. So I can ask you to order by something. I can ask you to order by something. Like maybe you want to pick the first, second, and third position in a class. Definitely you want to order by it. You want to order by it so that you can see them. I really themselves alphabetically. If I want to see the name of people in class in alphabetical order, so you can easily order by maybe your first name or your last name in alphabetical order. It's as simple as that. It's as simple and straightforward as that. So now let's create some. So let's come back here. I've already taught you the six mantras of your SQL, the six basic things, the six basic commands, most important command on your SQL. Your SQL cannot run without these two. This is two most minimum command. can give to SQL. If you have any question like that, that what is the minimum query you can run on SQL? What is the minimum query you can run on SQL? This is the minimum. Select from. That's the minimum query you can run on SQL. That's the minimum. That's the minimum. You can't do only select. It is a question of from where. Where are you selecting from? You can't do only from. What are you selecting there? You can't do it. So these two works pari passu. They works pari passu, and then others can now be coming in depending on the question you are being asked. Depending on the question you are being asked. So that's where that's how the other two can actually now come. So let's quickly go back to our updates. To our updates. So I am doing these updates, and I'm telling you guys that for this guy, we need to we need to update criteria we need to update all these guys in this blanks, this non cells. So now where I can do where student ID deliberately, you can do student ID. And if you like also you can do that, but then it is best when you are doing it on your primary key. It is best when you're doing it on your primary key because if you have 1,000 rows over here, students can be appearing twice. People can be appearing twice. Maximum can be appearing twice. So, but then your primary key, I've taught you before that your primary key are unique IDs that does not appear twice. It only appears once throughout. It only appears once. So you can do where students, in fact, this guy is not even serious. But as long as this guy is serious, this guy should have popped up the student ID first as a column under our classroom. But then it is even underlying our table as it were, which should not be. Is equals to what? We want to say XTR 2025 everyone. So we want to run this. Execute. One row affected. So let's look at our table again. Select from and let's look at it. Can you see grade 3 that has been filled already? Grade 3. So let's say we want to do for this other person also. Do 2. So let's say this one is grade 4. Let's do this one to grade 4. Do the same thing, updates, execute, and then one row affected, and then come back here, execute, and you see that we have all the grades here, grade 3, grade 4, grade 5. That makes life easier. Soft life. You don't need to disturb yourself or anything. So that makes life easier. So basically we have been able to use all our DML like that. If I'm correct, we have used our select, we have used our insert, we just finished using our updates, we have used our updates. This one we are not coming here at all. We are not coming here at all. So we have done this, done this, done this, done this, done this. Used alter table today. We've done our drop table yesterday. So that is what we can do on the minimum for you guys to have a basic understanding of how these guys, how they work, and how you can get started with your SQL. So yeah, you guys should definitely. In fact, I might even give you. In fact, not I might give you assignment. I will give you assignment after class today again, so that you guys can start firing this guy back to back. I'll still give you assignments in class today. So that's not a problem. So let's now look at how to import data sets to SQL. Start is very, very important.
This part is very, very important. Every part is important, but then if I'm telling you that one part is important, it means it is important. So because on the long run, just like I told you before, you might not be the one doing all this that and that of creating tables on the long run. They might be giving you the table on the long run. So you need to be able to understand how to actually do the table yourself, how to bring in data set yourself. So academic students, let me look at your location. So you must need to. So for example, okay, yeah, that's even okay. This even makes more sense. This is how the data set unit. Yeah, this is how data set unit. Everything is here. I've sent this guide to you guys on your quick page. So let me send these other ones. Uh, Strategic mind. Uh, I thought I sent you something else. Okay, so can I please give you guys this is things with department with, and I can give you this also. And give you guys this also. So, so I think try to that I want to give you guys. I think I've made the SQL clean sheet already. Actually, the clean sheet I gave I sent you. Wait, I thought I sent you guys clean sheet last week. Yeah, I sent you clean sheet last week. I remember. Let me check on my phone. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I've seen it. But it's even yesterday, not even last week. Yesterday. So even yesterday morning. Yesterday morning. You guys don't talk a lot yesterday. Okay, this is it. Okay. Okay. So deliberately, I always use this class so that I will see that I will make sure that I cover on the minimum some basic things you need to understand. So I can see that I cover on some minimum, and then in fact the one that I wanted to cover, you guys can also use this to benchmark and then just go ahead to learn them also. So that's one of the reasons why I always give you some of these materials. So we've already done our select. And I explained that already. We've already done our from, and I explained that already. Join table, we've not done that. So that is not for today's class. We are not going to be talking in this class. So maybe our next class, should be aware, I've told you it is for condition. Your group by, I've already explained that. Your having, I've already explained that. Your order by, I've already explained that. Okay. So all these are keywords that you can actually just play around. So and then you come to your joins later and the like. So this how to create your table. These are the code for creating your table. So don't mind this guy. Somebody was asking the question of what's the difference between SQL and my SQL earlier in class. This guy you are seeing behind this your semicolon you're seeing behind it. If you notice, I've never used semicolon for you guys in class. If you noticed, I've never. So, but then even if you use it, it should still work. It should still work on SQL. But then on my SQL, if you don't use this semicolon, it will not work. So my SQL and SQL, they have some discrepancies with even some of their words and some of the things. For them, they follow the same procedures, they follow the same guideline. Once you understand one, you can transfer the knowledge to the other one by just learning one or two other things. I have one of my team members. I trained every one of them with SQL, and he just decided to using my SQL himself, and he's using it, and we are still operating together. So they are just some kind of few differences that we have over there. So these are the things you can do for option table. You can add column, you can drop column, yeah, you can drop column, you can modify your column, you can rename your column, you can add constraints to your column, you can drop your constraints, you can use it to rename your table. Yeah, you can use it to rename your table also. Yeah. So that is what these are the things you can do with your table orders. So let's move ahead with this with our turn with how to import data sets on our table so that we can start doing some little queries. So now to import data set from your table, you must number one understand the data sets are bringing. That's the first thing you must do. You must understand the data set you are about to do. That's the reason why we have for marriage. That's the reason why we have time for courtship. Whereby you understand your babe, you understand each other very well, and see whether you are compatible. To see is she somebody I can mix money with? Is she somebody I cannot mix money with? Is it somebody I can do that with or this or that with? So you need to understand your data set so that you can know how to bring them in and where to bring them in. That one is very, very important. So under data sets, so by that, like under data sets, we have different types of data, like of files rather. We have different types of files. So there's something we call fiat, and there's something we call our myself. Your fiat is like your normal Excel. Nobody is explaining that. In fact, under your Excel, you have your Excel version also. SQL is very crazy. SQL is very crazy. So you need to be very meticulous anytime you are importing your data sets. So if you are importing your test file or CSV file, you are using your fiat. If you are using your test file, if you are using your test file or your CSV file, you are using your fiat. If you are using your Excel file, you are using your Excel, but you must know the version. But you must know the version. It's a must. It's a must. And then the reason why you must know the version, I will show you. I will show it to you guys very soon. I'll show it to you guys very soon. So now let's go and import our first data set, please, guys. All eyes on deck. Everybody, we need to follow through together, please. If you're still together in class, please use a thumbs up. Let me see people that were still together in class, please. Let me see people that were still together in class. Okay, fantastic. We're not using a thumbs down. It's okay. Okay. It's okay. Okay, fine, great. I still have so many people in class. Okay, so we want to import data sets for us to start using so that we will not be passing through the headache of creating table ourselves and the likes. So I need to come to my file manager first, and this data set I took the that we'll be using in class. This is the first one we want to bring in. This is Aberdeen students. So you will see that the first one we have over here is the name. The next thing we have over here is the date modified. Next thing we have is your type before your size. So come under your type, then come and enlarge this guy. I just do. You shall don't rearrange yourself. I don't want to with that. I don't want to with that. No, no, come to this problem. So come under your type. Yeah, don't disturb my life. Under your type, this guy will tell you the data type you have for right now. For example, this guy is what? Microsoft Excel, comma, separated value files. Can you see that? Microsoft Excel, comma, separated value file. So this is a CSV file. This guy is a CSV file. And I've told you that for your CSV file, you are using your VANT. So your CSV means comma separated values. It means comma separated values. That's your CSV. So you can see comma separated value. And I've explained what CSV means to you on our Power BI. I have taught you that when I was teaching you about what our delimiter looks like, your delimiter, and then the score comma separated value because it is actually separated by comma in the reasons. But then your delimiter system on Excel allows you to view it in different columns. I've taught you that before. I don't need to go back to that. So for this guy, customer sales, you can see Microsoft Excel 1997 to 2003 worksheets. The version for this Excel is 1997 to 2003. You need to understand that. This your SQL project 3 is Microsoft Excel worksheets. So this is like your latest Excels. This is like your latest Excels. So you need to understand that. Your SQL project is 1997 to 2003 also. You need to understand that. So let me open this and let's look at it on our normal Excel and see how this guy will bring it. So this is how this guy is bringing it on our normal Excel. So we have the phone number, we have the first name, we have the last name. We have the state, we have their age. As simple as this. Very simple and straightforward. Okay, I can close this. Don't save. So let's go and bring this guy in first on our SQL to start with. So you come to your SQL. So please, how many people are on the SQL right now doing it? If you're on your SQL right now doing it, please use a thumbs up. Let me see how many people are following through in class. How many people are following by the letters in class? You are on your laptop right now, following up. Use a thumbs up. Let me see. Wow, there's nobody. Wow, this is serious. Okay, no wala. No wala. Huh. Okay. I think I have some more. Okay, no, fine. That's the problem. So I want to put this guy under our strategic minded database. So I can right click on this guy. Let me see. Let's right click on this guy. Or let's click on this guy. Come on, me on. Okay. Imports. I'm looking for my imports. But then I should. Okay, so we have new database, new query. We have policy task. Yeah. This is task. So now under our task. So our task, we come to imports. Can you see? We have import flags. Okay, it's flag, not flags. Import flags, we have import data. We have export data. Can you see that over here? So come back again. You are here, you are coming to your database, right click on your database. You are coming on your tasks. You are coming to import your flats. If you are not on your laptop, please, you can write down the process. Import your flat files and then click on this guy. And this guy will bring you to this place where you can import your flats. So then I can click on my next. So location of file to be imported. I can click on my browse, and then clicking on my browse, I need to go and look for that guy. Yeah, this is it. Can you see? If we have other files over here. Can you see that we have other files over here? But then because of the fact that it is flat, that's why we have just this guy showing fault. So click on your phone, and this guy by default we bring up this. So students, table name. I want to use Aberdeen students instead. I want to remove that box. Your table schema, yeah, you're using your DPO and likes, and the next thing is next. So this guy will help you to preview your data. So can you see its data sets just like we saw it when we opened it? This is it. Okay, you can click on our next. And then this guy will bring you to all your columns name so that you can look at the data type. Currently, the data type on your phone now is big integers. We have small integers, we have big integers, depending on. But then don't forget, your phone number should not be integers. Your phone number should be text. So I want to change this here to varchar. Your phone number should be text. Or I can use varchar or n varchar. That's not an issue. N varchar. Since there's n varchar here, I can also use n varchar. State n varchar. Yeah, your age. Also your integer. I will leave this guy on integer. So allow none. Your phone number don't allow none because this will be our primary key. Your first name don't allow none because we need at least your first name. Then you can allow none on others. That's no problem. So I can click on my next here, and then I have all the information. I can click on my finish. So this guy insert data, can you see result success? It's as simple as that. And we can click on our close. So now let's go and see if we have our data sets here already. Let me refresh this. Let's see. I hope this guy table. So now we have this guy over here. Can you see? Aberdeen students. Aberdeen students. Can you see that? So I can right click. I can click on select top 1000. Instead of all this, I can just do select star. Select star. So execute. So yeah, so we have, can you see that our data set is now already here? Phone number, first name, last name, age, state, and age. State and age. So now let's see some simple questions we can start answering with this guy. Since we have been able to bring our data sets in, let's now see some simple questions we can answer with this guy so that we can see how query is being done on SQL. So that we can see how query is being done on SQL. So let's have a kind of play around first. We have done our select. So let's do select star again. Let's go from our table again. This table here. So let's say I want to use all our commands now. Like I want to use all our select from where group by having and then order by. I want us to use all the commands so that you guys can see the demonstration of it. So let's start from. So let's see where state, where this our state is equals to let's use Ocean, and then let's run this. Can you see that everything that it's showing right now is only showing people that meet the criteria of Ocean state? Can you see that? Where state is equals to Ocean. Can you see that? It is as simple as that. That's how your where statement is being used. That's how it is being used. It is as simple as that. This is the minimum we can. So let's do another condition. Copy this, paste it. So let's do where age is greater than 40. Where age is greater than 40. Let's do this. Can you see? Everything you be seeing here are bigger than 40, can 35, this, that. So this guy will make sure that all the criteria is met before returning the results. It's as simple as that. You can see that these are the simplest form of code you can actually ever see. So it's as simple as this. So now let's take it a little more complex. Select from this place. So let's say how many uh, how many people do we have in total? How many people do we have in total? And how many per state? Per state. How many people do we have in total? And how many per state? Now we are making this guy kind of more complex than now. So let me see. How many people in total? What it means is that I want to count the total number of rows I have. Over here, I can see over here that I have 105 rows. And then in fact, this guy over here has told me, down here, this guy down here has told me that it's 105 rows. But then, that is not the best way to report. You can't be telling your guy. You can't be looking at the number of rows on your dashboard. But then you want you to bring it out here yourself so that people can see it. So what can I do for this? It's very simple. Something you know already. So don't panic. So just do this. Select count into brackets star. So your count is an aggregating function. Now we are already doing our arithmetics. We've now applied a function. So we want to count this, and then let's see. How can you see that? 105. I will sit together. How many people are together with me in class? You say thumbs up if you said if you are sitting together in class. Okay, fantastic, fantastic, fantastic. I can see people are following. Yeah, great. So your can't is just your normal function, just like we have been using on Excel all this while. So you just apply your count, but then notice that no column name is on this, and that's because you are creating something new that is not on your stuff. So it does not have a name. So if you want it to have a name, you have to put something there. So that is now what we're going to do, what we call alias. What we call alias. So alias is choose to name or rename on SQL. So initially, I wanted to say name or rename column. But then the truth is, you don't only name or rename column, you can also name or rename your table on SQL. By the time we are joining tables together, we will also rename our table. We also create an alias. So it's just like my name is Victor Kolapo, but then most people prefer calling me KP, maybe because it is easy to call. Almost everybody, to an extent, large number of people, they have nickname. So that's your alias, nickname. So it is as simple as that this is not the real name, but then for the benefit of identity, so that we can know what we are doing, we are giving you this alias. It is as simple as that. Like that's the easiest English or easiest way I can actually explain this guy to you. So when you are calling somebody Ojuko, I mean, or this name or that name, it does not mean that that is their real name. But then at the point of calling them those names, it means that that is what you choose to call them as. That or say that's a very important, or that's what you choose to call them as. So at that particular point in time, if everybody is calling that name, everybody around that community already know that no, this person they are calling, because in a way, the name over time will gain popularity. That's just it. So to create alias, we introduce as. To create alias, we introduce as. So for example, right now, we have what we're trying to achieve over here is total people we have. So that is the total number of people on data set. So I can as well come back here and say total counts, select count star. I can say as total counts, as total count. So what am I doing here is that I am renaming this guy to be total count. It's as simple as that. I am renaming this guy to be total count. So if I run this now, you'll see something different. Can you see? Instead of no column name that we had before, we now have what? Total counts 105. Can you see that? How many of us got this? How many of us got this? How many of you are here? How many of you got this? How many of you got this? Oh, fantastic, fantastic. Yeah, fantastic. Yeah, fantastic. Yeah. Chinaza, you need to go and watch the video again. Chinaza, I don't know. You are using a lot of thumbs down recently. Don't mind me. So, but then it's as simple as that anyway. So, just like I've always been saying, I don't expect you guys to get it 100% in class. But then please go and watch the recording. Go and watch the recording. So, just like I said, your house is used to introduce alias. I want to rename this, and I'm renaming it as this. So I am saying that this as this, as simple as that. So how many people do we have in total? So this answers that question of how many people we have in total. I told you it's a question of question and answer, call and response. That's SQL for you. So now the next one is how many by states? How many by state? So select um, so from Abide students again. So what are we selecting this time around? Let me select star first. But then this time around, we are not picking everything. We are not picking everything. Yeah, we are not picking everything. Oh, how best can we do this? So, I think this should be simple and straightforward. Select, because I want to see the states. I want to see the states. Select states, comma. You know, I told you your select. You can use it to select everything you have by using select star, or you can use it to select specific, like specific as this. So I want to say select states, comma, then counts. Um, let me try something with this guy first before going to his routes. Let me try something with this guy first. Let me see. Let me use group by state over here. Just introduce my group by state over here. And let me run this and see. So yeah. This guy will run. Yeah. So and we are doing the same thing also over here. So the only difference is that we are introducing our states. is one want to do now. So select star as total quantities, total counts from where? From the inhabited students. Then check the group by states. You know, I told you before that your group by is used for categorizing them. The ones that are common to each other. We want to see them. So let's run this. Execute. You see this. So we have one norm on this. We have one norm. So and then we have people from Benue State, 7, Kebbi State, 9, Kogi State, 10, Kwara State, 9, Lagos State, 12, Ogun State, 13, Ondo State, 10, Osun State, 12, Oyo, 13, Taraba, 9. You can see that. So with this, we have seen all the delegates. Maybe maybe these are delegates for a conference or for a campaign. And we have seen delegates from all the states and their numbers. And all their numbers, we have seen it over here. So this is what we're trying to achieve with this. So just like I did again, I select states because I want to see the name of the states. Then the accounts. I want to see the accounts. Then I want to group by, so I have to group the accounts by the states. So as long as there's no group by, and I'm doing this one will give us something else. Why? Because we need to have this in our, can you see that column DBU is invalid in the select list. This state is invalid in the selected list. Why? Because it is not contained in either an aggregate function or group by clause. Can you see that? So anytime you see this kind of anytime I see this kind of error on my SQL, I already know that this is the only guy that can give the error. This is the only guy that can do that kind of error. Anytime I see anytime I see aggregate function or by group or the group by clause, I know that this is where the error is from. Or by default, I already know that. So what this error is telling us is the fact that we are introducing state and we want to count everything. That it is not making any sense. That what do you now need this state for? What do you need this state for? You can easily just run it like this and just let me count everything without state, and I will give you your answer. But then if you are introducing state, it means that you want to use the state for something. So what do you want to use it for? That's the question. What do you want to use it for? What do you want to use it for? Is it that you want to see only the state? If you want to see only the state, then remove all these other parts. Don't mix us together. Remove these other parts. And just see only your state. And you see all your states. You see everything here. You see all your states. But then immediately you are telling me to count. This is an aggregating function. It's an aggregating function. So I must know the reason. I must have, if there's an aggregating function, then it must be backed up by this guy. Except it is a standalone aggregating function. That it's a standalone. For example, I can say select sum of our age, like sum of our age from this guy. Don't forget, this is an aggregating function. It's an aggregating function. Because it is doing the total of everything over there. This guy will not give us an error. Like it will not, it will give us the answer. This guy will give us the answer. This is 3,996. But then immediately you introduce another guy over here, maybe the state again over here. This guy will definitely run into an error because you are already aggregating over here. You are aggregating over here, and then this state, if you are putting state, it means that you want to see the sum of this guy by state, but then you've not given this guy instruction to group by the state. So you need to come back here. So you need to come back here and do your group by state, so that you can have a perfect answer, and then this, and you are good to go. So, but then for your age, you can't be doing your sum of your age. What you can do for the age is your average age. You want to see the average age. So can you see? So average age from each state, from Benue State, 39, from Ivy is for 32. You can see the average state for each one of them over here like this. It's as simple as that. So, but then let's now say that, oh, okay. So how many states has an average age that is above 35? How many states? Now the question is, how many states has how many states how many states has age above 35 years? Above, that is greater than 35. So it's the same thing as saying that come over here, select, what are we selecting? States as average age. Then I select states, comma, average of age again. Then from where? From this your table. So for this guy, I'm coming. So for this guy, we do some little tweak, but then don't worry yet. So we'll do some little tweak. So group by state. So we have already done this. So now we need to apply a condition. I told you that having where will not work over here. Why? Because we have an aggregating function. We have a group by clause. We have something aggregating it. So because of that, we are going to use our having. So having what? Having average age greater than 35. As simple as this. So this guy will do this for us. Let's see. So everything we having over here will be have their age above 35 compared to this. So we can run this and these guys together simultaneously to see them together. Can you see that over here we have 30, 33, this and likes. We have 9 of them. Over here we have just 7 of them. All the ones that are below 35, they are no longer here. They are no longer here. That's below 35, they're no longer here. But then don't forget that the question is how many? How many? So let me see something. How many states? 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 Let's see, let's see. Count. Star. Let's see. Let me see this. No, this is not what I want. This is not what I want. Okay. I think I can make this guy simpler. Let's see this. An aggregate may not appear in the where clause, can you see? Unless it is subquery in an having clause. Can you see that? Aggregated function. Aggregated function. You know, I mentioned that idea also. That your where cannot deal with your aggregate. You cannot do with aggregated function. So an aggregate may not appear in the where clause unless it is subquery contained in the having clause or a select list, and the column being aggregated is an outer reference. Can you see that? So this will never and ever work. This will never and ever work. So we have back our states. We have back our states, then the average age, and then this, we have this, we have this. So these are the states with an average age above 35. With an average age above 35. So we can also use our order by on here, definitely. We can also still use our order by on here. So our order by what are we ordering by? Let's order by state. Let's say descending order. So I told you before that your order by, in fact, I can use my order by on just the actual document. So let's start from this. So let's check this again. So let's order by the first name, or let's order by age. Order by, so that we can see from the lowest order by age, descending order. So the oldest person on this call is 50 years. So if you want to do ascending order also, this from the smallest to the largest. This one is now 18 years, this 19 years, this 19 years, this 19 years, this 20. So this is how to do your order by. So basically from this, we have seen how to use all our 6 commands that we talked about last time. We have seen how to use all our 6 commands. All these guys. Your select, your from, your where, your who by, your having, your order by. We have seen how we can use every one of them. We have seen how we can use every one of them right now. So which means that we are now making little progress one after the other, one by one. We are making progress small, no matter how small it is. We are making our progress. So I want to see if I can just do some basic what's it called? I can perform some basic things on this guy. Let me see if I can perform some basic things on this guy. So we have already looked at our where function, where state it is, where state it is. So let's assume you are asked to combine their first name and second name together, the first name and the last name together. You are asked to combine the first name and the last name together. In one of the videos you did on Excel, again on Excel, one of the videos you did on Excel, there is a part that you actually used your concatenate function. There's a part that you did that's your car inventory. I remember clearly your car inventory. When you are trying to create a new name for the car, you have to use your concatenate function. And what's your concatenation function used for? Your concatenation function is used for joining multiple tests together. That is used for joining multiple tests, 2 or more tests, or 2 or more cells. It's used to join them together. So let's see. I think we should look to achieve this 2 approach. Let's see if we can use our concatenation function first. Before I will be I'll try this other style. So I want to do my select. And then I want to look at their full name, their states, and their age. Their full name, their states, and their age. So I want to do select, I want to do states, comma, age. See, whether you are doing everything on the same line or different line, see, all these things, it no matter. So you can, it depends on you. It depends on your own style. Everybody have their own style for doing things. So consider can remove all the underlines. So this guy will run, but then it's not the full thing we want, state and age, but then we need the full name also. So, but then for the full name, we are doing addition of what? We are doing addition of your first name and your last name. We are doing addition of your first name and your last name. So let me try the concatenate function. What I do work? Concat. Can you see that? Concat. What are we concatenating? We are concatenating our first name and our last name. So the concat, the expression. So the first thing is our first underscore name, comma, Then our last underscore name, close with brackets, and this guy should run. Although this is not all. Can you see that? Um, what's happening? Okay, comma. I did not put comma there. So no column name, state, and age. Can you see that? It's what the one happened the other time. Let me even see what happened again. States. Amalara this. Another their state is not writing their name. Uh, but then it should be like this. Execute. So we can now see Amalara Agnes Alawu. So this is not making any sense to me. Somewhere something is not making any sense to me. I can come back here and I can add a space in between these guys. So comma, I want to put space in between them dedicated so that this guy can make more sense. So can you see Amara Agnes space allow Catherine space Apan, Samuel space Okaleo? This makes more sense. This makes more sense to me. Also, and with that, we have been able to match. So now to alias as full name, because no column name is here, and I don't like it like that. I can do this execute. Then you can see full name, states, and the age. Full name, states, and the age. So with this, we have been able to bring in names to match their full names. I think there should be another style. Let me see. Let me try the other style. Select. There should be another style. Say date, comma, age. Your DBO have it in. From your DBO have it in. And then I want to come back to this first one and say my first name. Let me see. My first name plus like a space plus I need start space in between plus my last underscore name plus my last underscore name. So I should be able to do this as full name. Full name, close this, and then comma this. Obviously, this guy should also give us the same thing. That's using our comma. Yeah, it works fine. It works fine. So the reason why I have to just to test this again is to tell you that there is no one-way traffic in on SQL also. There is no one-way traffic on SQL also. The gist is getting the job done. Everybody will have their different approach. So SQL is about you breaking down your question and deciding which approach are, are taken. So you want to first understand your question and then break it down to your own language. Then before you now see, okay, this is what we have. Now let me go this route. Let me go this route. This is how best I want to do my own. This is how best I want to do my own. This kind of like that. So you don't want to just be doing copy. No, just do it as you actually understand it. So on this, I think by now an average person on this call should understand the basic and the fundamental of how to navigate some things on SQL. We not want to load us with so much because already I know that some people are already having headache with what we have right now. I know that some people are already having headache with what we have right now. So I will not want to load us with so many things. So, but then, before we leave, I think we have already stayed almost 2 hours on the call. But then, before we leave, I will want to teach you guys how to import your Excel file also before we leave. Don't worry, I will not stop your head with so much training again, so that you guys will have time to go back to this one and digest this one first before we mark in some other form of code for more questions and answers. So, but then before then, let me teach you guys how to import your Excel file also on this guy so that we want to be going back to import data. So over here also I have some Excel files. Project 3, this is project. So let me see. This is also an Excel file. So this is customer sales. Let's look at it. Yeah, this is ouch. Okay. This is customer sales. Item ID, buyer DOB, full name, their city, their items, the stock date, the quantity, the sales date, the unit costs, and then unit sales. Unit costs, unit sales. Use the quantity stored. Unit unit cost is 73.24. I guess I it was 60.8. This is loss now. We are making loss on this now. Anyway, it is normal. This is we are making profit on this, we are making profit on this. You lose on some, you win on some. Yeah. So this one is like your sales that you can even use to practice your sales to see where you are making your profit and where you are making your loss. This is the loss. Also, this is a stupid profit. No mind, I use the word stupid profit. I mean very big profit. Which is okay. This is another serious loss. This one is a serious loss, very serious one. But then it is. So we have this, but then we import that also. But then I have more interest in the project, the SQL project 3, because we don't have so much time. Yeah, I have more interest in this because we don't have so much time. Because this asks questions, question 1 to 9 for you guys to try. So and this is the questions we will be attempting. In fact, time is already going. I would have said we should even start attempting it in class today. I would have even said we should start attempting it in class today. But then I know that if I start attempting this in class today, so many people will throw stone at me. I know so many people will throw stone at me. You guys want to understand what we learn first. So no, that's not a problem. That's not a problem. But then I will import this guy in, and from our next class we'll start answering all these questions one after the other. So let me look at this SQL projects also. It's cool. I think they're the same thing. They're the same thing. Yeah. Let me look at our SQL questions. These are our SQL questions. Okay. Okay, so these questions are the one I use for the adventure works. These are the questions we use for the adventure works. And I'll be using this question majorly by the time we learn join the table. So if you are able to meet during the course of this week, maybe on Tuesday or on Wednesday, if we are able to meet this in the course of this week, then on Saturday morning, what we'll do basically in that class is that we'll do queries. Just for you guys to understand query. We'll do query. And then in that class, if we are able to do that class, I will introduce you guys to your project work, to your SQL project work. I will introduce you guys to your SQL project work. And then on Saturday morning, we'll just come to class to teach about how to join tables, how to work on multiple tables, 2 or more tables, how to work on multiple tables. Then once you're able to work on multiple tables on Saturday morning, then your Saturday evening, if you are coming back to class Saturday evening, what we just be looking at will just be your project work, how far you have gone with it, And then if any group is ready, like they are sure of themselves, we have another particular vendor to demonstrate their project work for us. We can also look at their project work and then use that one to just wrap up everything and then just have a kind of general section, question and answer. So that's what I have in mind for that. So I mean that means that we need three sections basically to close out on our training. We need three sections on the minimum to close out on our training. Except you want us to have a longer section like this also, a long 3 5 hours at times, which I know that most people will run away from. So okay, so let's come back here. Let me close this guy and let's bring our project three in. Let's bring our project three in. So same process, right click on this guy, same process, come to your task again. But then this time around, instead of import flat file, you are clicking on import data because it's no longer a flat file. I told you it's for text file, TST file, and your CSV file. But then when you are importing your Excel file, you are using import data. So click on your import data. And then this guy is welcoming us to SQL Server Import and Export Wizard. So you can click on your next. So, and then this guy will ask you to pick your data source. So again, you have to be painstaking and meticulous about this guy. Please, guys, if you're not on your laptop, please write down the process. Or maybe when you are watching the video, you can look at it. Please, I'm begging. I'm begging. Because any mistake from your hand on this purpose will it will also give you an error message. In fact, at the point in time, I even saw the fact that it's not working on my own, or on my own, at times it's not work on my own end. Like the same process, and somebody else in class following the same process, and it will work successfully. So at times it happens like that, that there is no mistake you are doing. It's just maybe your laptop like that's giving you that form of headache. So it can happen at times actually. That is SQL can be nasty at times. I've seen it in some cases actually. I've seen it not in one, not twice. I've seen it several cases while on call with students. That myself, tutor, we the teacher, go enter for my own end. And people wait there in class with their laptop for the same thing, and they will have a success message immediately. So, but then just want to maybe cancel it again, and just retry it again until you're able to pull through. So for your data source, this guy will ask for your data source. And don't forget our data source is our Excel. So we are looking for our Excel over here. So we have seen it's Microsoft Excel, but then we have other data source also. But then we have data source is Microsoft Excel. Can you see that? So this guy we ask, so can you see that I asked you guys to know the version of your Excel. Can you see that this guy is asking us for Excel version? This guy is asking us for Excel version. So we have different versions. Can you see we have Excel 3.0, 4.0, 5.0, 1997, 2003, 2007, 2010, 2013, 2016. We have different versions of Excel. So you really want to know the version of of the guy you are dealing with. So let's come and browse for this guy first. Let's browse. And then where is this guy? Where is this guy? Let me come here. I'm going to look at data analytics, new class, data analytics plus new class, SQL plus 5. Okay. Now we are bringing in SQL project 3 to start with. So, and we are seeing, uh, uh, yeah, seeing both one. So by default, this guy has changed the version for us. But then I'm not so sure the version is okay. SQL project 3, you don't have any year over here. You don't have any year over here. And this guy has helped us. Please, Precious, please meet yourself. I said want me to meet you, please. Precious, please meet yourself, please. I guess some people maybe some people just put on the class so that they just come and mark register and they will not pay attention in class. It happens at times. So, but then that's fine. That's fine. So we can see that this guy has automatically created the type itself. And then please, this part is also very necessary, please. First row as column name, except you don't have a column name. If you have a column name, you want to make sure that you set your first row as column name. Please, all these processes are very important. So you can click on your next, and then your destination. What's your destination? So our destination for this is our SQL server. SQL server. So these servers are we using? Microsoft Flash destination, Microsoft for SQL, for SQL server. Yeah, this one we are using. We're using the last one. Provider for SQL server. Can you see this? DB provider for SQL server. Can you see this? This is what we are using. And then this guy will take us to our server name. This is my server name, the color for. Your own server name will also be there. So everybody's server name will be there. You are going to use your window authentication, that is fine. Then your database, we are using Strategic Mind as our database, which is fine. But then if you want to change the database also, if you want to put this on another database, you can also do that over here. All your database that you have on your system, on your SQL, will actually be reflecting over here. Can you see? All your database will actually be reflecting over here. And then once you have done that, you can click on your next again. And then copy data from one or multiple views. Write a query to specify data to transfer. So use these options to copy all data from the existing table or views in the source data. So this is what you are using. You want to pick everything. So click on your next, JJ. And then we have two sheets over here. We have two sheets. One is for your questions and one is for your project. So this we are dealing with the one for the project, not the one for the question. So and you can also preview it if you want. Product ID, customer full name, customer DOB, products, sales date, this and that and blanks. And then click on your OK. So you are not picking the one for questions. Can you see we have two sheets on your Excel workbook, but then we are only picking one. Note that. We are only picking one. Note that, please. Note that. And then you can click on your next again. And then run immediately. If you want, you can click on the next and then finish. So let's wait for these guys to move around and then let's see. Yeah, success. Success. So the execution was then definitely we have 53,147 rows on this guy. 53,147 rows on these guys. So and then definitely you can close that and then that guy will already be over here. So we can now go and refresh this guy. So we have refreshed this. Let's go to our database. Come back to strategic mind. Let's come to our tables. And then we have this guy over here. This guy over here. So you're about to rename the object provider. You should continue. Yes, continue. Yeah. I want it like this. Project 3 without the dollar sign. I want it like that. I want it like that. So yes, leave without that. Although you can use your SQ rename function also to rename your table. You can use your SQ rename function to also rename your table. But then you can do it as simple as that. So let's see. See that. start on project 3. So, and we have this guy, our tables, 53,147 rows. Yeah. So we have our product ID, we have our customer full name, our POB, our names, our product names, our sales dates, our delivery date, our return flag, our cost, our sales. So we have all these guys over here. We have all these guys over here. So and we are ready to start querying this guy. It's soft like actually. It's soft like. Although SQL can also be more complex than this, actually. That's the truth. SQL can also be more complex than this. So don't think that the one that we are even teaching in class now that you are looking at that it's already complex, that it's already hard. The truth is this is not hard. I'm teaching you the basic part of SQL. That's sincere truth. That's sincere truth. I'm teaching you the basic parts. And then we have some crazy parts, especially for people that use SQL for data cleaning. Some people use SQL for data cleaning, like from the scratch of the data cleaning to the end. They use SQL for it. Those people, those if you want to go through that route, you have to be very crazy about SQL, like very, very crazy about SQL. But then since we know how to import our data sets from our Excel, you can do your data cleaning on Excel, like we have always been doing. Then bring it to your SQL. If you want soft live, if you want soft live, but then if you want to be doing everything on SQL also, it is also permitted, it's also allowed. You get the document, you try to look for all your norm, where this one is norm, look at it. Do you want to delete them? Do you want to do this? What are the calculations you want to do on this? What are the calculations you want to do on that? It is not as straightforward as Excel, but then the truth is, if you understand the fundamental, like you're doing it on Excel, on Power BI, if you understand those fundamental, they are transferable process. Just that SQL has another language. You must understand the language and the right command before you be able to execute it, before you be able to do your data cleaning on SQL easily. So that's just it. That's just it. But then what we are doing on SQL now is believing so much that you have learned your Excel already and you can handle your data cleaning process on your Excel. Then your clean data that you have done on Excel, you are bringing it to your SQL to start the query, like to query it. So, by querying, if you said you are trying to query someone, it means that you are asking the person questions. Questions. You are asking them questions. So and then which we have been doing to ask questions and we have been getting answers to all the questions we are actually answering. So on this guide that we have right now, you might want to do well to look at the questions before our next class. So, because for example, this your first question is talking about what? From customer full name, extract first name and surname from the table. From the table. So this is something. So we are asked to extract the first name and the last name from this. So which means that we need to look at what this is right now. Is this no, this is not to look at this guy right now and we look at the customer full name. So we have this here, we have we have our comma to be our separator. So we have our separator to be our comma. So and then we are going to use our separator to be able to achieve that. So but then before we go into that, I will allow us to go and digest what is that. So I will allow us to go and understand the basic. Can we export data from SQL to Excel to produce a dashboard? Very fantastic question, actually. A very fantastic question. So you can actually connect your SQL to your Power BI. On Power BI, I showed you guys your SQL server. So you can actually connect your query, your database on your Power BI, on your SQL to your Power BI to produce your visuals. You can. But then I just want to, can you see SQL server? Can you see that? Can you see the icon over here? So once you click on that, you can easily use this to connect to your SQL server and then to produce it to help you to produce your visuals or whatever you're trying to do. Although it depends largely, and the reason why I said it depends is that for database administrator roles, for people that if you ask for your server and the likes. So for database administrator roles, some of them use Azure Studio for their reporting. There's another guy we call Azure Studio. There's another guy we call Azure. I don't have Azure Studio. Then I should have Visual Code. I have Visual Code Studio. I don't have Azure Studio. So Visual Code Studio is different from Azure Studio actually. So there's another guy we call Azure Studio, and then some company use it for their reporting. Visual Studio, this is where we do our front end, our back end, and some other things. But then this guy also supports SQL. And also, you can also, if you are good for SQL, you can also run your SQL query on this guy actually and still get your results. So in fact, you can do as minimum, in fact, your terminals, your TMP on your laptop, we have a command prompt to your terminal. So we have a lot of guys over here that can do it. But then we have something called Azure Studio. Visual Studio, where is it? Oh, am I missing something? So some companies use Azure Studio for their reporting actually. So that they will run their is it not the same thing? What am I missing? That they run their reporting on it actually. They bring their SQL to it, and then they run their values, their digit on it, and then they use it for their reporting. Because in the recent for SQL, you can't give SQL to somebody that is not technical. That's the truth. If you are dealing with management staff that they are not technical, it is your home to use your SQL to run whatever query you want to run. They need something else to report to, which is actually where you now need to connect it to your visual instruments, visual tools, which is your Power BI. So thanks for that question. So it is possible. You can actually. So thanks for that question. So another question. Let me just take your questions. Because trying to do this now. Um, trying to do this now. I was trying to do this now. I'll be exposing you guys to more complex part of SQL, which I'm not so sure you are ready for. So, but then, yeah. From customer base, for this one, I think we're going to use our substring. As a function we call our substring, and then maybe character index also. I think that's the best guy to use for this. Find out customer we are giving birth to between 12 minutes and 12 p.m. So I think for this one we need our DOB, the customer DOB, the time this time around. So we just need time that is between where our time is between 12 and 6 a.m. Find output who are returned if return flag show RT as return. Find all products. This one is the easiest. This one is the easiest with look of things. This one is the easiest. It's just be where where the ground flag is equal to gravity. It's as simple as that. This one is the easiest. So in fact, anybody on this call right now should be able to answer that one. So that one is should be is easy. Another one is format says date. So this one is using your format function. Format says date to dd YY and name the column month to year. So mm, this is you using your this is using your formatting as well. Formatting and then using your alias and name the column month year. This is your alias as months underscore year as basically. So based on the following condition, increase or decrease cost as follow. If RT is wow, makes sense. Making your statements. This is you making statements on your SQL and then making statements. So for statements, you are making case, not statement. You are making case. So this one will also expose us to a big part of SQL actually. We'll be able to make case on this part. Then this part, based on the answer from question 5, you should find the profit and the loss. So this guy will actually show us how SQL is being used in real life. So I will not want to jump into it now. Let's do this in our next class so that you guys can go back to what we've done in today's class, absorb it, like make sure you understand the fundamental, the basic of SQL itself before we start moving into all this. So your assignment was Wednesday class or our next class, whether Wednesday or not. I don't know whether everybody has subscribed for us to have to do it on Wednesday yet. But if people live, yeah, Wednesday would be the best. Maybe Tuesday or Wednesday, and anyone. So, but then your assignment for at least the next class, probably which assignment can I give you? What assignment can I give you? Import all the three data sets on your database. By the data sets, I mean your everything. I mean your projects and your customer service. I've given you guys all the data set already. The Excel files, they are already on your classroom, on your strategic mind page. So you can download them and import every one of them. So which other question can I give you apart from this? Um, perform at least queries on customer sales data sets. Have queries on your choice. I'm giving you the opportunity of your choice. On customer sales database. On customer sales database. So this customer sales database, perform any 5 queries of your choice on this guy. Perform any 5 queries of your choice on this guy. So for people that really have interest in maybe mapping out once you're done with that assignment and you have interest in mapping out your project work, because this your project work is this group planning it's planning 8 week challenge. So for your project work, in case you want to start looking at your project work and then to see the use case in real life, how SQL is used in real life situation, so that you guys will not be asking for how relevant it is and the likes. So that's the reason why I will just show us this. I will not touch on it, I will just show it to us. I will explain it better in your next class. So, but then for anybody that wants to be looking at it, you can start looking at it now. Um, I've dropped the name for the guys. So in our next class, we will decide which of these case studies we are going to pick. We have about eight case studies that day. So, and I will allow you guys to pick the case study you want yourself. Maybe you can look at it before the next class to look at the case study you guys will refer to. So all the groups we are doing the same case study. Except, or maybe you can do it that each group can go and pick their case study. So let's do it like that. Each group, go and look at this. You can pick your case study yourself. You can pick a case study. Each group should go and look at this and pick their case study themselves. Because you guys will come together to brainstorm about how to solve it. So each of the questions, each of the case study will give a background to it. For example, this guy will give you a background. It will give you introduction. What it is, what the problem is, current statements, what are the tables you are looking at, what is the example, and what are the questions they want you to solve. I see. What are the questions they want you to solve. So this each of them will give you a background so that you can know how SQL is being used in real life, so that you not know that everything we are doing, they are not just generic, they are not just doing it for doing sake. No, they are actually applicable in real life. So you can go, each group can have a meeting around it, go through it, and you can pick a case study for your group and then submit it. Yeah, and then submit it so that you can get it approved and then your group can start working on your case study. But then please, for now, I think the most important focus is that when you watch today's class, know how to import your Excel files, your test files to your SQL, and how to run basic queries on your SQL. So that by next class that will be going to some more crazy, because the truth is from your next class we'll not be using select from where, we'll not be using that again. That's the truth. So that's why I don't want to rush you guys. I want you guys to go and digest this one first. From your next class, you'll be using bigger queries, you'll be doing calculations in your queries. You'll be doing calculations, you'll be doing using some other query, you'll be using some other big guys that you have not seen before. Some other big guys that you have not seen before. But then don't panic about anything. But just understand to the basics that have been shared with you. So that it will work well. So part of our the assignment again. Okay, the assignment again. This is the assignment. I will let me drop this guy for you and also on a group page. I'll drop the assignments up for you on the group page so that you guys can have that. So there's not to panic about on scale actually. Just I'll give you books. Don't worry. I'll give you books. I'll give you books to read. I'll give you books to read. Okay, please you can go ahead. Carista, please can ask the question, please. We are done for today. Carista, your hand is up. Oh, you can ask your question already.
Please, can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
Okay, thank you. Please, I'm still having issues with installation. In fact, yesterday I spent all the data I have trying to, but it keeps stopping at the same point. Like I said the other time, I was able to successfully install on my desktop in the office, and I can't do any work here. So you were suggesting reaching you on your DM, and immediately after that class, I tried, but you were not available to respond. I don't really know. Like
That
now, I
was
can't even.
that was that was yesterday, and I told you yesterday that I have a conference. Immediately I dropped the
Yes,
call
I
yesterday.
knew
I had to
that.
get back.
I knew,
So
but
you
because
should
you
not
said
expect
I we can DM you, that was why I had to do that. I posted in
okay,
my group. Nobody, I don't know.
yeah, I got that. I
I've
don't
been
know
using
yet, but then
PG
I think
admin. And it's not. I want to
so. I,
use.
I think it's
Yes.
yeah, I got that. I think you are the only one having issues with your SQL now. And then for you to have even done it on your desktop at work, it means that maybe you understand the process already. So I'm guessing maybe your system or anything might be at fault, but then not a problem. I don't think, is there any other question from what we did in class today so that I can dispatch everybody? How do you submit? Okay, so for your submission for that, don't worry. I will tell Pommy to create a task for that on your classroom page. So you can go and drop the files on the classroom page. So that's not a problem. Okay, so Austin, you can go ahead with your question, please.
Okay, good evening, my boss. Good evening, good evening. Sorry, I've